you do something really bad, like, you know what I mean, like lose an arm or something, you know what I mean? But still, once you like don't eat and just drink water, you'd be surprised what happens to your body, man.
Oh yes, I did a video when my channel was young called Crucify the Higher Ego with Water Fast. Because a lot of spiritual people will get a higher ego. So they think, I'm spiritual now, so now I'm above this or that, right? Well, after 3 days of drinking nothing but reverse osmosis filtered water, that starts to break down. And you realize, you know, I'm just as whatever as these other people, I'm the same. The spiritual experience doesn't ever make you better or worse. It makes you understand that you're not any of those things.
To me, the feeling I get is it's clear.
Yes.
It's clean, if that makes sense.
You all of a sudden, like once you stop, you know, there's a state where you stop being hungry.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you have all this energy.
It's like the third day.
Yeah. I think it's ketones is what it is.
Like even if you go on an Atkins diet and you don't actually fast, but you quit eating carbs and you only eat fat and protein, you'll start pissing out yellow-brown because it's your body's burning its fat.
Yep.
So
that brown fat's the worst one.
You got to drink a lot of water because when you're pissing brown like that, it means you're getting close to getting dehydrated as well. Like, it's good unless you're diabetic, that you can't just fast like that or you can pass out and die, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, definitely you need to check with your physician, you know, whether or not you can do it. But if you're perfectly healthy, I think you should do it once a month.
I think even if you're not healthy, you should do it, but with someone watching you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because fasting cures a lot of stuff, dude.
It does. Have you ever done a dry fast for a whole day?
Yeah, I've done it without even trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've done it where I went, this is like when I was younger. You know, when you're at that age, you go to work and you're broke because you spent all your money?
God, yeah.
So you don't even have water, food to eat at work. You're just dying until you get home.
I've been that way recently.
I know how it feels, man. I know it's got to be tough. You got the, how old are your kids, your stepkids?
My stepkids range from 20 years old, then the next one's 18, and then 15, and then my biological children are 6, 7, and 8.
Okay. So old ones you ain't got to worry about, but your kids, the young ones, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
cool.
Still got to worry about the older ones, you know, troublemakers. But
right.
They're learning how to live their lives and what mistakes you can and can't make.
Yeah.
You know, complicated
They're all that
time.
age, yeah.
I'm lucky I partied for about a year, and then I went in the military, so I kind of cut it short, luckily, because I could have partied my ass off. Like,
where did you go to basic? Did you go to Colorado or Texas?
I went to Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. Yeah, that was a trip. We had the very first snow that Lackland had seen in years when I got there. Yeah.
This is funny. My buddy just retired from the Air Force. You know, I remember when he first went to basic back in the 90s. My other friends, they went to like Paris Island.
Yeah.
They became Marines. When we all got together here in Georgia, it was so fun. Like, man, we had sand fleas. We were like, you had to take a shit in front of my buddy who went to the Air Force. He's like, really? We stayed in these nice motel rooms. I joined the bathroom to get all your privacy.
Nice.
I was like, that's awesome, dude.
When I used to play football, I got a football scholarship. That's how I went to college. We went to this one field that the locker room had 2 toilets in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
And there was no privacy, and you had to sit there. And so we would just sit next to each other and do our thing, and like, it's the weirdest experience. But those showers were a nice, interesting experience at basic training.
I went to basic training. I didn't go to basic training. I went to boot camp for idiots.
Yeah, boot camp.
But for like felons, man, and I went to boot camp like sausage showers, dude. You had to take a crap. There's like 5 commodes, no stall, nothing, dude. So you learn quick, like, oh man, this gross. Fights would break out. You wouldn't even go take a shower if a fight break out because you'd slip and fall. It was gross.
I wonder if it was the same for you there. We had a shower. It was a big square, and there was like 9 or 10 shower heads.
Yep, that's what it was.
Yeah, and they would stand on one side and put shampoo in your hand, and you have to walk through the shower heads. And you weren't allowed to slow down. You just had to walk through, and by the time you got to the end, you better be rinsed off because you're done.
Yeah, that's it
was in there. And then we had like latrine queen who had to clean all the toilets, and
We cleaned those toilets so damn good you could eat off of them. I know people are like, I'm like, no, really.
No, I believe
Brasso and everything.
I
dude.
believe you.
Some dude put a booger on the side of the wall. But drill sergeant goes out there, and it's so clean. You could see that one booger. He's like, who the fuck thinks they're goddamn funny? One little booger in the middle of white, dude. This white thing. Yeah, you could spot that booger. That's how clean it was.
Man. We had a one girl, you know, you have a boy and a girl flight
Right.
at basic, and this girl was eating her food, and there was a TI, you know, the training instructor,
Right.
standing over her. He's like, "You got to finish this plate." He was screaming at her, and she's like, "I can't, I'm going to puke." And so she threw up all over her plate and in her cup. He literally made her finish it again. And it was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
We had a funny thing. When we came back from work detail, they stripped you butt naked, squat, cough, blah blah blah. This kid spit on the ground, dude. And I remember one of the OIC saw it. He's like, "Pick that up and put it back in your mouth." And he's like, "Riz, pick it up!" His own booger spit. He had to put it. Now eat it.
Oh my god.
Dude, it's so funny. We brought that because I was thinking about this yesterday out of nowhere. I started laughing when we come back from work detail. One day before March, when you had to go back and back into the building, but you didn't take a right or left until the OIC was like right flank or left flank. There's a fence in the wall, but the guy wasn't paying attention. He never said right flank, so we're just like walking into the wall, and everyone's like going around and just kept marching like I was going everywhere. What the holy fuck? Blah, blah, blah. And I was the one at the front, and this guy, the one that wasn't paying attention, he was a work detail officer. He's a fucking idiot. The ones that worked in the at the correctional center, those are the ones that were in the military,
Yeah.
They are like, "You're an idiot." And we didn't even see him, and everyone's like, he started yelling at us. And the OIC told that OIC, "Don't you yell at my men like that, blah, 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 blah." But like, it was so funny because we were trained, dude. We don't do nothing on unless you say it,
Yeah.
And we're marching right into the wall, just right into the wall.
I mean, I
everyone's just
you
walking
did what
in,
you
dude.
were told to do.
Yeah, dude. He never said right flank, dude. We just went into the pasture.
That's
dude.
awesome. Did you guys have a guidon bearer? The guy who carried the flag at the front?
We did on DNC weekends. We
Okay.
did, like when we went out to practice.
So that was my position at basic. And one time I thought, I had a Mexican TI whose accent was very strong.
Yeah.
And I thought he said left flank.
Yeah.
And so I'm like 40 feet away from the rest of the flight, just marching in a straight
Right.
line, and they're all going the other way. And it was right during drill, which is a competition.
Right, DNC.
So yeah, it was kind of hilarious.
Dude, drill and ceremonies, whoever won it would get chicken breast.
Really?
And then what it is on the weekend, if you're in a prison, like correctional thing, you only get fed breakfast and lunch. You didn't get our breakfast and dinner, you didn't get no lunch. But we were the most ate up dorm, dude. Like, we'd get the chicken breast, but they would get so pissed because we kept getting in trouble. They'd get the boot polish and, like, put, like, A it up or, like, put it on the glassware to clean it. But we won DNC every weekend. But we were the worst ones, man.
Nice. I bet that was fun, boot camp.
Yeah, it sucked. Remember, it was for, like, felons. It
Yeah.
wasn't a military boot camp.
No, I understand.
I had to go twice.
Did you?
Because remember I told you earlier I got caught with that ounce of cocaine?
Yeah.
I could have gotten prison time. And this is before we had digital scales. The scale that I had at Sprayberry High School right beside it, dude. I got it and stole it from school. It was a Bill triple beam.
Oh my god.
I lucked out. My lawyer and my judge, we all went to the same church.
Okay.
I had to do 3 months of boot camp, come back and do 3 months of jail time, then go back to boot camp, and then come back and do 3 months. So it was a
God.
year. But it was only a year, but like, I remember like soon as the first time I went in, I was at Alpha Dorm. That's for all the FNGs. You'd sit there for like, a month and they'd move you into Bravo, Delta, or Charlie or whatever. Well, the second time I went, I didn't even go to Alpha Dorm because everyone remembered me. They even knew. They're like, "Eldridge, you're going to be back in 3 months." I'm like, "Yes, sir." Blah, blah, blah. They're like, we'll head you right up front. As soon as I came that first day, it was funny. As soon as if I got off the bus, everyone started like, that's when they were rough on the new people. Everyone got off the bus. The first time I ever went to boot camp, I experienced it. They make you butt naked and make you run. Just do it.
Yeah,
They just kill. It's called a thrashing. They said, "We're going to do 1,000 squats. You're going to do 1,000 3 count." You know what I mean? They tortured us.
Oh god, yeah.
But it was funny because as soon as we got out, the second time, 6 months later, we come back. I see officer. His name was Officer Moore. He looks at me. He's like, he gave me this nod. He started yelling at everybody, "Get off the gun!" And they was hands on, dude. They'd push you.
Yeah.
And right through all that, they're like, "You ain't gonna do nothing. You're gonna have to do all." Because I was giving these kids like. These guys that were going where we were, I was giving them hints like, "Be quiet, don't talk back."
I bet they didn't listen at all.
A lot of them didn't. And I was like, as soon as they get off the bus, I can't tell them to get there. I don't even have to do what you got to do. He's like, "Man, that white boy doesn't know what he's talking about." I remember them saying. I got off, like, "See y'all later." Boom. I was eat like that. When you first go to boot camp that first week, you don't eat.
Yeah.
They don't feed you until you start working. You have to pass medical.
Okay.
And I already passed it. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there eating chicken,
That's
whatever,
awesome.
dude, while they're like starving to death, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seeing them on the work details, like, "You were right, dude. You didn't have to do none of that." I was like, "Nah."
You know, it sounds just like basic.
It was.
Like, we had to get off the bus and do that, pick up your bags, put them down, squat down, do push-ups, do sit-ups. First night, they didn't let us sleep for 2 days straight, right? You know, so we had to put our nose against a locker and just stand there with our nose pressed against the locker. And they let us go to bed, but it was a trick. They let us sleep for 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden, these 10th weekers were banging at the door and screaming and freaking out. We didn't know what was happening, so we just opened the door, which got us in more trouble because the TI was like, nobody's doing entry control work. You're just going to let these people in? They start flipping our beds. And,
we had that like twice a week.
We're in our underwear. But the cool thing is when you get to 10th week, you get to go do that to a new flight. Yeah. And that was pretty cool.
The new guys, definitely, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was cool. I got a couple of fist bumps, like even the guys, our officers, they said it was harder than regular Marine basic training because we're convicts, dude. They don't have to take care of us. They could beat the crap out of us. And there was this guy. He went to a prison called Alto. It's a woman's prison now, but he did like 4 years in prison, and boot camp was his last thing before he had to go get back on the street. You get these hardcore guys that did prison time, but the guys I was running the boot camp were like these ex-Marines that was in Kosovo, dude, back in the 90s. And they're like I don't care how tough you think you're in prison, you ain't fucking with these Marines, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. My window was right beside the air conditioning unit outside. Now, we didn't get AC, it just went into the church and into the kitchens. But I could see them, they're like, put your hands above your waist. And the dude, these black dudes like, yeah, and then the Marines would just like smack. Nice. They put them in the hospital a couple of times, and guess what? The medical, they're going to take the Marine side, dude.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're convicts, you know?
Why not? Those are Marines.
Yeah. But I remember when I first got out, they're like, you want to make your phone call to your mom? And I already knew the whole thing. They're going to make you go to the fence and go, Mama. I'm like, sir, no, sir. I don't need to call my mother, sir, or whatever, And they're like, just do it. I'm like, Mama. And they're like, he ain't no fun. Get inside. Because I already knew I was going to come. Because people are like, I wanted to make that phone call. I want a phone call. They're like, here it is. They're like, who wants to go swimming? And people be like this, and then you just lay down on the floor, and that hurts, dude. It's like doing 6 inches, dude.
We had a guy, so at basic, the first day you're there, you go into this classroom in the beginning where all your flights are mixed together. You don't have any place to go, really. And this big guy, man, he was like 7 feet tall, huge black dude, scary as anything. And he's like, all right, I just want to give you guys one chance. This is the only chance you're going to get at basic training. Who doesn't think they're designed to be here and wants to go home? Just raise your hand. We'll let you go home. This one kid raises his hand. I swear, 7 TIs came flying out of outer space and just attacked this kid. Like he had to go outside and run drills and all kinds of stuff. And like he got like tortured the whole entire time he was at basic training.
Oh, dude, this is funny. Similar to what you're saying. Who here is for drug rehab classes, for drug, substance abuse? We got a special class, you're going to have to take this class for substance abuse. I was like, fuck, I caught some. I didn't get caught doing them, so I didn't do nothing. People raise their hands, like, all right, come on. Took them outside. We're going to sweat it out of you. Dude, like, have you ever seen anyone that went through opiate withdrawals? Like, people were coming in through heroin withdrawals. They were clean within a week. Sure, the first 2 days they were fevering and dying, but like they'd sweat it out. We don't give a damn if you're dying. Run! And it was bad.
For the past 2 years, I was visiting a family member at rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can get pretty rough.
Yeah, dude. But like they sweat it out of you.
God, I actually feel pretty proud of my basic because 2 weeks before I went to basic training, I was playing basketball.
Yeah.
And I severed my ACL. And I knew at the time I was about to have my first child, and I had a job at Target. So I was like, I got to do this. I have no choice. I have to do this. So I didn't tell anyone about my ACL. And every day, it was the most excruciating pain, and my knee would pop out. And I'm the guy in the front with the flag. Like, I have to be perfect. So 3 weeks in, we got permission to go to the store without our TI. I started buying ACE wraps and just wrapping my knee.
Right.
I passed my final test at basic training by like 2 or 3 seconds. If I failed that, you start over. Or at least you get washed back a week. But I did it on my torn ACL.
2 years before I went to boot camp, I got into a car accident. I ripped my patella right off my knee.
Oh, that sucks.
But the same thing as you. But the thing is, I never had surgery. I just had acupuncture and moxibustion where they burn it.
Yeah.
And I did that for 2 years. And finally, I was crippled for about a year and a half. Then my lawyer's like, "You're going to boot camp." I'm like, shit, my leg, you know, my knee, and they're like, I don't got no choice. You know what I mean? Is that or doing a year in prison? Most people would go to prison, not me.
I don't know, man.
I'd rather go do
At least
boot
you're
camp.
outside.
I'd rather do 6 months of boot camp than doing a year of prison, dude. That's just me. I go to boot camp. First, I cleared medical, and then like they start PTing me, dude. It was bad. My knee swelled up, and all this white shit was oozing out of my knee where all the burn holes were.
Yeah.
Because the medical's like, you burn your legs with cigarettes, and it was funny because the head doctor there was a Korean man. I was like, no, moxibustion. Then he calls the nurse, and he's like, he's probably some Buddhist guy because he's burning his knees. I'm like, I'm not Buddhist, I'm Christian. It was just, you know, an acupuncture. He's like, yeah, whatever, shut up, boy. And then, you know, and then, for like, it healed up, dude. A week later, I still had scar tissue, and I could still pop it. I could straighten my leg, go pop.
Yeah.
But it healed. I never had surgery done to it. That's another thing. I just worked out and ate and stayed healthy, and fucker healed, man.
Yeah, I mean, I tried that. I've been, for 3 years, I've had my right ACL's been missing. My bones grind all day when I go downstairs and things, and I really don't want to have the surgery because the ACL surgery is terrible.
My spine's fucked. Like, my C5 and my C6 up here.
Yeah.
I was looking at the operation. They got to cut right here and going on this way because they can't cut here because all that shit's there, man. And that's scary stuff. And I'll see chiropractor and I'll do that. And I'm slowly getting better.
You know,
if you saw me a year and a half ago, I'm the same size, but I was nothing but muscle, dude.
Really?
I just got fat, sedentary, and all my muscles went away. Yeah.
Sedentarianism, that's not a real word, but
Sedentary, right.
Sedentarianism is what I said.
I just, you know, I couldn't because my back's, like, there was a time when I couldn't take a dump for 2 weeks, man.
That sucks. You know,
Because of what your C5 and C6 controls all, like what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
It controls different parts of your body, man. I got adjusted, and I was like, where's the toilet at?
I figured out a way to fix a slip disc.
Yeah.
You know, because I do yoga and stuff. If you, like, do a wave through your spine and, like, you got to keep working it up. It's kind of weird. You got to be alone or somebody's going to make fun of you, but just stand up and wave your spine like until you get a ripple to go through it right, and it'll throw that disc back in. I had a one down in the middle. I don't know which
That
one
would be
it
your
was.
thoracic.
Thoracic.
I'll have to check that out when I get home.
Yeah, man. Just like start messing with your spine, you know, until you feel it. But I was doing it one day and it just made this snap, like not a regular back pop. It was like really deep,
Yikes.
you know. But it hurt all the way through my spine. But then the next day I was like, something's different. Like I can stand up. But there's all kind of old ways to fix it.
Oh yeah. It's like people think a chiropractor is like, you know, like a bunch of weirdos. It's not, man. I've seen it help people. It's helped me, man.
I think you get it the same way you get anything else.
Yeah.
There are people out there making money, and there are people out there who truly care and believe in what they're doing, and I think those people can heal some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but you do have some.
And there's different, like, the first chiropractor guy I went and saw, he could barely pop my back. And I went to see another one. He did it good, like pop, and everything works. And I was like, I don't know if that guy was just trying to, like, you know, rip me off or something. Or and he's like, no, every chiropractor has their own style of doing something. I was like, well, I don't like his weak boop boop style. I want pop, you're done.
He probably deals with like maybe rich people who
Or like
don't.
old people,
or old people who don't want to be injured.
Or he feels like, I'll start thinking, I bet they know how to screw people up, or they have to keep coming back in to see him. I bet they do, man.
I'm sure you got some shiny tooth, slick haired, you know, chiropractors who are doing that kind of thing.
Because years ago in the 1800s, that's where chiropractor came from, dude. It was like snake oil salesmen out in St. Louis. Yeah, I read studied it. Because it really were. I get interested in all kinds of shit. And I'll just Wikipedia and do, like, I forgot the guy's name, but he started out in St. Louis. He knew how to fix people. He learned from Indian, not Native American, but like the Indian man, how to adjust people. Okay, yeah. And he knew how to do it. But then he was like, he would know how to fix himself, but he had to find someone to fix him when he got hurt. And that's when it started. Chiropractor got big in the 50s. And because back then the doctors were like, don't go see him. Now they work together, dude.
It's similar then to like what I do. I've got a few videos on my channel about how to help with like fibromyalgia and things that I've discovered. It used to just be people discovering things.
Right.
You know, so it all, started from just one person.
Dude, it's like people like Western medicine talk so bad about like Chinese medicine. You start thinking about those people have been doing it for thousands of years, and there's nothing wrong with them. So there's got to be something to it. You know what I mean? And everybody's different.
Arguably, the East is much healthier.
Yeah. except for like from pollution, like you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
But then if you look at like different traits in people, everybody's body is different. For example, like the Middle East Mediterranean diet's healthy. But you start feeding that food to an Eskimo, they're gonna get obese and die, dude. You know,
Yes,
and it's the opposite for them. You start giving Middle Easterner sill fat, dude, and shrimp, they're gonna have cholesterol poisoning or something.
Have you ever heard of the morphogenetic field? Mm-hmm. Or I think that's what it was called. There was this guy, Terence McKenna, and he had a compatriot. Now I'm drawing a blank on his name, which really sucks because I do know his name. But he came up with this thing called morphogenetics, which is basically where if an ancestor of yours adapted to something, that passes to you, and then that continues to pass, and other people in the same area will start getting those adaptations because you did, and it's through our morphogenetic field. So it's like, I don't know, you know, there's a lot more to us.
I believe it. Like, you get certain people from a certain tribe that's out in the middle of nowhere all by themselves, they'll start having the same facial features.
Yeah.
It's race, dude. It's where the races and tribes came. And I'll tell you another thing's funny, and I think about it more and more as I get older. When I was a kid, I would see my grandparents, my mom or my dad, someone might have a tick or someone was hurt, or I knew my mom was totally psycho when I was a kid. Now that I'm getting older, it's like I act like her sometimes when I get pissed.
Yeah.
And I could see my body like looking more like my dad when he was hurt or something. You pick up, it's all hereditary, dude.
It is. Yeah, I actually had to break some genetic curses that I attained from my dad. You know what I mean? Certain things that I started noticing I was feeling that were problems for him. And since I broke those, I don't see them in any of my kids.
That's good. I got screwed out of the gene pool, man. Everybody on my American side, they're all like a bunch of big gingers. They're like 6'3", 300 pounds. And on my Korean side, I'm like 5 foot,
Nice.
500 pounds, you know? So
How tall are you?
I'm only like 5'9", 5'10".
Are you?
So, yeah.
I thought you were taller.
People say that I'm only 5'9", 5'10", so...
My granddad was over 7 feet tall.
Nice. It's weird, because I got my cousin in Korea. Growing up as kids, I was taller than him. Then when I went back and visited when I was a teenager, he was like 6'3". He's 6'7", dude.
Wow.
But what's weird is like both of his parents are small. But I know when he was a kid, there was something wrong with him. He had some sort of TB or something.
Okay.
And I know they vaccinated him with some stuff. I think that's what made him like
That
big.
affect his pituitary gland?
It might have, yeah.
Yeah.
Because think about it like this, like I know, like that's what they do in Russia. They give hormones to kids, man, steroids and growth hormones. And I've taken steroids here and there. You know what I mean? Anabolics.
Yeah.
I've seen it change people's physiology. You know what I mean? And,
I used to take SARMs.
yeah, I know what SARMs
Yeah.
are. And it's like they give them to people. Like you have these little kids in Russia who aren't growing any. They shoot them up with shit, so their body absorbs all the nutrients. And that thing has a lot to do with how big they are.
That makes sense.
Big time, dude.
I mean, I believe that every 50-year-old and up should start taking growth hormone.
Yeah, test or anything. It's all in moderation. If you're taking it like a bodybuilders, that's not healthy. But a shot here and there ain't gonna be bad.
But to protect your body and to keep the hormones where they would be, you know, when you were younger,
Yeah.
I don't see a problem
You
with
gotta
that.
maintain it, yeah.
Yeah, it's about maintenance. It's not about getting, you know,
And when you
insanely
see
ripped.
those bodybuilders with the big stomachs, that's not from steroids. That's from growth and insulin. Yeah.
Insulin, yes.
Because a lot of people don't. You know, insulin's the strongest hormone there is.
Is it?
Yeah, dude. Like people don't know that. That's why like people who are on like steroids and stuff, and they use insulin because their sugar gets so high they got to take something to go down. But sometimes when the insulin brings them so low, they got to start eating. That's why I hear about bodybuilders dying, choking to death because with Rich Pion and a couple of other guys last
that
year
guy.
died. They started, it's because their insulin, they had to start eating, dude, because they're going to pass out and die. They start eating, but they choke.
That rich guy, he used to pump his body full of that synthol.
Yeah.
That stuff's crazy.
I liked him because he told the truth.
Right.
He never lied, even though I would never do what he did, but at least he told the truth. He's like, you're not getting that big unless you're eating and taking
It would
steroids,
be-
and it's the truth.
Really difficult to believe
Yeah.
he wasn't on.
Yeah,
you know,
what
like,
I mean?
yeah. But I mean, he was cool. I watched his
I've met him in
documentary.
real life. He was probably, I was taller than he was, dude.
Really?
A lot of these bodybuilders they're like my height, dude. They're 5'10". They're not real.
I know that Coleman's pretty big, I think.
He was probably about 5'10", 6
Oh, wow.
foot. Yeah, dude. I've met those guys. I've met Ronnie Coleman. I've met Dennis Henderson. I met a couple of those guys. Now you put them next to a football player, they look small. But like on a magazine because they're cut up, but in real life, dude, they're like 5'10". Because when you're that tall,
Yeah.
like The Rock,
Yeah.
It's when you're tall like that, it's hard to put on muscle because you got more space.
Oh, he's a freak of nature.
He's definitely on steroids. I've heard people say, "Oh, the Rock's natural." It's like, yeah, sure.
No,
he
takes
he takes a lot of stuff.
Winstrol. What is that stuff called?
Winstrol. He's probably taking Tren and all kinds of stuff, man. There's so many different types of steroids. Yeah. I've taken Tren. That's some good shit.
Yeah, it's good for cutting.
Tren's good for a lot, but boy, you better watch. Like, I had to quit taking it because my red blood cell count was getting so high.
Really?
I had to start donating blood, dude.
My dad used to take clenbuterol to drop weight. He was a UFC fighter.
That stuff's dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Clenbuterol is very dangerous.
You know, albuterol is used to open your lungs up when you have asthma. So it's an asthma medication.
It's a different ester, yeah.
Right.
But Clen, I've seen the man. He can't stop sweating using that shit, dude. That stuff's dangerous.
It is. You got to drink 700 gallons of water a day.
I don't like Winstrol. All Winstrol is a muscle hardener.
So Dianabol then.
Yeah. Dianabol. I never took it. I've taken Adavir. That's real mild. That's more for females. Anadrol is strong. That only comes in pill form. You're gonna put on a lot of water.
I liked the SARMs because they weren't necessarily steroids, but they converted in your liver to steroids. But it was a lighter version.
I never used any SARMs. I've used some HCG, but that's close. SARMs, like I know it doesn't make you stronger, but it makes your muscles come out, is what I've heard.
I don't know, man. I took my bench from 350 to like 430.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was taking SARMs in the Air Force, and they're legal in the Air Force.
One of our little buddies, he's in the Army now. He gets his steroids from my brother. Like, we'll send it to him. He's selling it. It's funny because his master sergeant and all those guys, they're buying steroids from him.
Nice.
You better be careful.
They're going to get tested.
I've got friends, dude. I've got friends that are law enforcement. Of course, they don't smoke weed, do cocaine, but they're all on it anabolics, dude.
I believe
they're
that.
All on hormones, dude.
I don't think police should be on that shit because they're too aggressive anyway.
Yeah.
My dad was a deputy in Lumpkin. Man, we are almost home.
Are we? Okay.
What a trip.
It was a good trip. Lots of talking, man.
Yeah, actually, I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
I do this sometimes because it's very natural. I've been recording this as a podcast. Do you have any problem if I use it?
Did you record me?
Just talking. I'll delete it right now, but I just wanted to ask because the conversation is very natural.
Yeah.
I have no problem deleting. I'll delete it in front of you.
Oh man, go ahead, dude.
Okay.
But like, you don't got my name, did you?
No, you never said your name.
Yeah, I did once. I yelled out my last name when we was talking about boot camp.
Oh, well, I can certainly